Hello, welcome back to another episode of cedh Bling Builds. Today we're going to go over Ukkima UFC Food Chain. I'm going to feature this deck. I know it's a thousand years old, but I'm going to feature this deck today because I think I'm ready to cash in all my food chain commanders and food chain engine. It's just kind of boring. So I know that you're here looking forward to building food chain, but it's just not for me anymore. So this is a deck and all the other food chain commanders that I'm ready to say farewell to. So let's give them a nice send off. So we're here in Sultai colors and playing food chain. If you didn't know what food chain does, you have the enchantment food chain where you exile a creature and you could cash it in for its CMC +1, and you can use that mana to cast a creature. And so we'll go over it. You should know what food chain does, which is why you're here. So we have Ukkima, who's an ideal food chain target. Right? What makes a good food chain target? It's a creature that is in the command zone that when it ETBs or LTBs, it does something. It does something of significance, whether to draw the deck. In this case, Ukkima pews everyone because we're going to do this infinitely. Right? And so Ukkima, it can't be blocked. Sure, that might as well be the last line because it's flavor text. But when Ukkima LTBs, it pews everyone for 2. Okay. Ukkima's owner, right? I guess Ukkima is the owner. This is the pet. Khazar, Ruthless Stalker. What it does is it's a vanilla creature that gives us the color green. And so let's get into the deck. We have a food chain for 2 and a green. Exile a creature you control at X mana of any one color, where X is 1 plus the exiled creature's converted mana cost. Spend this mana only to cast a creature. And so there are a handful of creatures in the game, just a handful, because wizards they're not Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Yu-Gi-Oh is crazy. Yu-Gi-Oh uses the exile pile as a fucking a 5th hand, but there are a handful of creatures in this game that take advantage of food chain. Creatures that you can cast from exile. Eternal Scourge, right? Which is the best one, in my opinion, for 3. Generic, which is great. They could have been assholes and made Eternal Scourge. I don't know. That wasn't in this set. The 2 and a colorless. That would have been annoying. Right? You cast from exile this thick motherfucker for a 4. You can cast it from exile. There's the third one. We're not in these colors, but the third one would be Squee, the Immortal. You cast. Actually, he's the best one. You can cast him in the graveyard, exile, whatever. You can cast him, put him on the field. Easy peasy. And so what we're gonna do is, with the food chain on board, you should know this. With the food chain on board, and one of these assholes, either in exile or on board, we cast a sack into the food chain, and we infinitely. We'll get that infinite creature mana, and then we'll use a food chain creature to then gain infinite food chain mana, and pew. Well, with that infinite food chain mana, ETB, LTB, whatever. Because we're in these colors, we're in Sultai, we have access to Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consult. Only an edgelord dipshit would not run this combo. It's just too easy of a combo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you want to play a 4-man free-for-all. You guys are going to circle jerk each other until you're all tapped out. Like, no, just get the game over with. Just, you guys are out here playing kaiju fights, or battling, until the last monster survives. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time because these games like drag out to like 2-3 hours. Let's be real. Tainted Pact. Don't be ridiculous with your Tainted Pact. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I see a lot more casuals running Tainted Pact as part of their console package. But then they have like 5 basic planes in their deck for no reason, and it shuts the Tainted Pact off. Shuts it off. You want to make sure you have one of each basic. If you're desperate, right, because you're in limited colors, and you have the Tainted Pact in the deck, then run like a forest, a snow forest, an island, in Snow Island. What makes these cards really cool in a food chain deck is that you have the potential to exile a food chain creature. There are only 2 in this deck. Only 3 exist, so don't really count on it. Don't count on it. But a Tainted Pact can easily, out of desperation, or if you want to go brr, fast, you could Tainted Pact until you find the food chain that's like hopefully at close to the bottom of your deck, exiling away the food chain creatures. Not in the deck is Malevolent Hermit, Benevolent Geist. A lot of dumbasses have the Benevolent Hermit in their deck. Why? Non-creature spells you control can't be countered. But the loop involves a creature spell. But the Geist says non-creature spells you control can't be. But the main combo is a creature spell. But non-creature spells you control can't be countered. Yeah, but the main combo of this deck is a creature spell. I mention this because there's a list on the database that is a collective, collaborative project, and all 5 of those incels couldn't realize that Malevolent Hermit is stupid in this deck. But what we have instead, 100%, we have a Destiny Spinner. All right, so what Beyonce here does, she, and it's really cheap. She's 1 in a green. We can Neoform or Eldritch Evolution a dork into her. And a creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. Easy peasy. So now we could go off uncontested, right? The food chain could land uncontested. I would run Allosaurus Shepherd in this deck in maybe like a first sliver or something like that, right? Because Allosaurus Shepherd says green spells can't be countered. So if you have a food chain commander that's in the color green, then also run the Allosaurus Shepherd. Easy peasy. Let's get into some of the hate bears of the deck. We have an Opposition Agent, Dothy Voidwalker. For a little bit of utility, we have a Ledger Shredder. Really good card. Really good card. Eternal Witness for some utility. More hate bears. I put this out of order. Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake is fantastic, especially when you're in blue and green. You can Neoform a dork into Gilded Drake. Special summon the Gilded Drake to take away your opponent's combo piece. Their main general. Their final boss. A Collector Oof. Fantastic hate bear. So you already know what's up with my artifact count. If you have low artifact count, then for God's sake, put the Oof on board. Again, it's very low CMC. You can Neoform a dork into it. Speaking of dorks, we have Birds of Paradise, Deathrite Shaman, Arbor Elf, Elves of Deep Shadow, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, and a Finhorn Elf. I don't run mana dorks like that, so I was never really interested in picking up the more optimal, more blingier versions of some of these dorks. And then an Elvish Spirit Guide, just to help speed up us landing the food chain. Because this is a food chain deck, we're not going to have like a Jeweled Lotus in the deck. I mean, you can have a Jewel Lotus in the deck because you want to like cast a Khazar and do stuff with him. But once we have infinite mana set up, you know, then it renders a Lotus, not a Lotus Petal, a Jeweled Lotus renders it obsolete, moot. Our counter package. Starting these off, we have Autumn's Veil, Veil Summer. These are great to just counter the first thing, you know, that they try, and then for the rest of the turn, you're pretty much a gooch. You have a Fluster Storm, Swan Song, Dispel, Miscast. This should be an offer you can't refuse. I don't know what's taking my offer you can't refuse so long to come in the mail. And since I bought like a premium version, I'm not going to spend $2 on a regular paper one and an LGS as a stand-in. We have a Mental Misstep, Pact Negation, and a Force of Will. For our removal package, we have a Chain of Vapor, Nature's Claim, Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decay, and a Toxic Deluge for good measure. Keep in mind, we're really just trying to spot remove the things that are hinder to us, like right the stacks pieces that our opponents are running. Don't be a fucking cowboy and start finger banging anything, you wacko. Our draw package, not super amazing, which is something I got to keep an eye on because I like little tiny cantrips. It's just a personal preference. I believe that filtering through the deck is a very, very strong, very, very strong. But there are no teeny tiny cantrips in this deck. So again, just a reminder, the deck list should be in the description below. And you know, this deck is subject to change as I play it in real time, in real life, in real world. We have Appearance of the Abyss, an Ad Nauseam, a Windfall, and of course a Time Twister. Time Twister is great, especially in a deck with like a ton of permanents. I can drop all those permanents and then refill my hand. Easy peasy, no problem. Our rituals, we have a Dark Ritual. Oh, these help pay for our Appearance of the Abyss or fast Ad Nauseam. So Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual. Call in the Weak, ton of creatures, so easy call in the weak. Rain of Filth. Don't be afraid to use a Rain of Filth, even if you don't have a win. You know, if you didn't cast, if you're not under like a Null Rod or a Collector Oof, you didn't cast like, you know, a land or the cheap rocks, but you're going to try to Abyss. You're going to try to Rain of Filth for an Abyss. Just do it. Just do it. It's fine. Go to 0 lands. It doesn't matter. These cards. These are like Buried Alives for Food Chain decks. There are 3 of them. This deck is only running 2 because I'm only running 2 Food Chain creatures. If I was running 3, I would run a 3. Right? Weird math. Weird reasoning. But we'll start things off with Extract. Extract is a really neat card. For a single blue at a Sorcery speed, we search a target player's library for a card and remove it from the game. So if you have a opponent who is on a very fragile combo, you can tech in Extract, even outside of Food Chain, to take them off their combo, which could be devastating for them. They're never going to get that shit back. So maybe over time, Extract becomes like a narrow tech card, which I suspect because for whatever reason, this $1 foil from like 6 years ago is like now a $50 foil. Manipulate Fate. Search your library for 3 cards, remove them from the game, shuffle your library. So you could, if you already have the Food Chain creatures banished or exiled, I think you could still like manipulate fate through the deck for like trash pieces, right? A gemstone cavern that you don't want to draw into. Really, just cards you just don't need, just to thin out the deck. And then you draw a card. And then the final one, I forget the name of it. It doesn't come foil. It does the same thing, but I think it draws at the next end step or something like that. It's the same cost, same thing, but the time for drawing is a little bit different. New York City Sirens. I'm not in a studio. I'm just, in my my lonely New York City apartment. So I apologize for the sirens in every video. There isn't a war going on. That's just how it be. We have the special summon from the deck, creature package. Really, really great to tutor up a hate bear, like on the spot. We have a Neoform and Eldritch Evolution. And then Finale of Devastation also acts as a reanimate to a certain degree. I'll keep an eye out for the Devastation's performance in this deck. Could be a cheaper cantrip. So, for me, it would be like green, and 2 to like get out like a Drake or Oof, which could come in handy if I have like a slower hand. It depends on the matchup. It depends on my hand. There's no green. What the hell is it called? Green Sun Zenith? I don't think there are any like juicy green creatures in this deck that I'd be interested in, except for like Beyonce. Yeah, that's about it. We have our Imperial Seal, Demonic Tutor, a Diabolic Intent, Mystical Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, a Limdol's Vault, really just to add some speed. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Fucking meow. Plunge into Darkness. Really neat card, especially in Food Chain deck. You can pay X being like 39. And then you tutor, head instant speed, and just get rid of Food Chain creatures. It's fine. Maybe I tech this in more and more decks where I'm really just trying to find the other half of a combo. At that point, whatever is left in the deck is inconsequential. Praetor's Grasp, again, kind of like Extract, but better. For 1 and 2 black, you tutor up a card in an opponent's library, face down, exile it, and you can cast it. Not of any color, unfortunately, but you can still cast it. You could, in decks that are not in blue, with a Tainted Pact in the deck, you could still do the Tainted Pact Thassa's Oracle combo of Praetor's Grasp. I've done that plenty of times. And, or again, you could just take your opponent off like their fragile combo. So you have to know your matchups, right? You have to know matchups. Even if they have like some wanky jank commander at the helm, Praetor's, you see what colors they're in, you should expect to see certain combos in their deck, even if they insist they're not on combo. So a little bit of recursion, we have a Yawgmoth's Will and a Noxious Revival. Very, very strong cards. Easy peasy. And then wrapping things up, we have our Enchantments, Carpet Flowers, Sylvan Library, Mystic Remora, Mystic Study, and then a very strong card in this deck, in a Food Chain deck, Necropotence. Right? You could pay, 35, and pick up 35 cards and just pitch and exile Food Chain creatures. That's the name of the game. So, Necropotence does have the potential to win, like on the spot or the next turn, if you land at very early Necropotence. don't be afraid to just drop it, pay a shit ton of life, and dig for a combo. It's whatever, right? Triple black, it's the rituals help pay for necropotence. Our artifacts, very, very tiny, very simple. We have a lotus petal, chrome mox, mox diamond, soul ring, and a mana crypt. Why? Because we have a null rod and an oof in the deck. We can have a tiny, tiny, tiny artifact count, and it's going to be like one or the other. Right? You're either going to land the oof or you're going to land the rock, but seldomly it's like a both. We're not in like a treasure strategy, so null rod is perfectly fine in a deck like this. Then wrap things up with lands. We have all 9 Fetcherinos. If you're new to the format, let's explain why. Let's go over the land count a little bit slowly, especially for Tainted Pact mana base. Right? Maybe the next couple of videos I'll do like a 3+ colors, 2+ colors, and a Tainted Pact. Right? So we have all 9 fetches. Another reason why fetches are very important in this format. And the land count in this deck, and in most of my decks, it's a 28. 28 because of my average CMC is very, very low, and mana rocks help carry me. Either mana rocks or dorks help carry me. So we have all, in a 3-color deck, we have all 9 fetches. We won't have the Prismatic Vista because our basic count is low. If you can't get some of these rainbow lands, and you have access to the Prismatic Vista, then by all means, run Prismatic Vista in addition to your fetch lands, and then your basics would be like island, swamp, forest, snow, island, snow, swamp, snow, forest. Okay, and that's 6 targets for your Prismatic Vista. Very easy. But for us, we have just a simple island and a swamp. We have all 3 shocks and all 3 duels. For me, I am not running the blue-green Battle Bond land and Horizon land, or the black-green Battle Bond land, Horizon land, but I am running just the one Morphic pool. For you, those are other options. We have an Ancient Tomb, and for utility, we have Atawada. I'll keep an eye on Atawada's performance. Not a lot of basic, not a lot of legendary, 0 legendary creatures outside the commander. So I'm not trying to clear the stacks piece for 4 mana. That's crazy. So I'll keep an eye out for Atawada. And Boseiju. 2 is not that bad. 1 is great. This is wearing 3 colors, but my pips are all over the place. We're going to definitely max out on our rainbow lands, which is why I'm not doing the all 3 basics, all 3 snow basics, and the other Battle Bond and Horizon lands. We have a Gemstone Cavern, a Command Tower, a Forbidden Orchard. I'm not swinging, so by all means, have your spirits on the ground. Exotic Orchard, Mana Confluence, a Tarnished Citadel. My artifact count is too low for me to run a Spire of Industry, so we would swap a Spire for Tarnished Citadel. I can still add 1 colorless, which is fine, but then I'm going to Lightning Bolt myself for color, which is okay. And the City of Brass. And so that is your Tainted Pact mana base in 3+ colors. And there you have it. You have yeah, your good boy, Uki, Ukkima, Ukkima Food Chain with green. Thank you very much. I'll play this over the weekend, see how it goes. But yeah, I'm ready to part with the Food Chain and all the Food Chain commanders. It's just not for me. But maybe it is something that you're interested in. Best of luck. Thank you. Ta ta.